you have Tuesdays off?
Every other Tuesday.
Do you have tomorrow off?
Yes.
Cool. There's a really good film.
Yes, I've heard you talking about it. Alright, so session 19. This will be session 20. Wow. Session 19 was the 7th of October. We returned to Ladova. Pitt and I wrote this in the first person from Bullard's perspective. Pitt and I check in with Ariel and V at the Snake and Lion. Everyone else joins us, and we discuss a plan for infiltrating the cult. It's on Holg Stir. I tell Noki I want spells. Holg and Iz go to a cult bar, and Tail Tattle listens for me and Crowder and Pitt. That bar was called the Serpent's Maw. We return to Holg's apartment for Pixie Light. We plan to case the castle before the Circle of 8 can get there. Period. Ambush! Exclamation mark. A giant gate blocks our way. We eventually got around the gate by me premonitioning that there was a sewer grate somewhere, and we emerged out into a courtyard.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I know that well, it's been since the 7th of October.
Yeah, and it's been a month. What?
2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks.
I was drunk. That's all I remember.
What? So was I. In Michigan?
Yeah, that was drunk Pitt.
I hope I didn't leave out any details that were important to anybody, but those are just my notes in brief. I don't think we need to spend like 30 minutes going over the minutia.
Agreed.
Also, hello, whoever listens. Probably Dustin, I imagine, and Steven.
Reminder, Kagan, you need to get these up.
I'll let you be reminded after you get it up and listen to it. Milky Way.
Midnight.
So I forget, was Hulk
Sit chair.
snuggling, wow, like sneaking in with you guys? Or, like, it's all of you are together, right?
Yeah, he can hold back and say watch if you need him to.
He will hold back.
Hold back. It's good. It's always like...
Yeah, right.
Sorry, I now have a drawing of this, and I must have put it in the wrong notebook because it's not in here, along with like the back half of the notes for that session. Oops.
Is that has
Is
things
everybody
in it?
lubricated and ready?
Soon. Oh, do you look for it?
Sure.
To knowledge and adventure! Cheers! That's something that he would say.
Yeah.
We did bourbon.
Who did bourbon? You did?
We did. They did.
Alright, so you guys have emerged in the courtyard of the abandoned castle, rumored to be haunted.
I absolutely think it's haunted.
You might not know it's rumored to be haunted. Bullard definitely knows. I don't know if he shared with you.
And I've been talking about it this whole time.
And look, you're sharing stories about it on the way here.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay. I do not remember I said that, yes. But I would 100% believe in all of them.
Is continues to be noticeably silent, but not noticeably very uncomfortable at the prospect of going to a place where there are ghosts.
Well, you're already in the place. So you have emerged in like a dry fountain bed. It has like a covering of algae that has long since died when the water dried up. Around you, the courtyard is like largely rectangular, and in the middle, there's stone cobbled paths that lead in directions towards the walls of the castle, and in between those paths are bits of overgrown grass and like
A forgotten garden.
but yeah, it was once like a beautiful, well-managed garden, and now it looks like this tiny spooky forest that's surrounded by walls.
Are the paths seeming to go to like gates or doors in the castle walls?
So they go to
Courtyard walls?
yeah. It's like I think I described it like Marquette, like that sort of like
Yes.
arched.
I remember that, yeah.
Almost like a porch thing that's on all four sides. So it's difficult to see through that. I think it's getting dark, and the shadows are sort of keeping you from being able to make out those details. They do lead like north, south, east, and west from you, and they lead to the castle. You can assume they probably like go towards doors, but you can't see exactly what they're going towards. They just go sort of and disappear into the passages that connect.
I'm gonna turn the fan off since these are here.
Oh,
Nice. Yeah. Can you make sure the burner's off?
Burner is off.
Wow. This wow. This looks like it was really beautiful once. I'm so interested in what is inside, other than ghosts. That is kind of scary. But I'm really curious as to everything else in here too.
No fiend shall scare me.
Is Pistol drunk?
No, Pit is shivering while saying this.
It's on the microwave.
Click it once. It says like exhaust fan or something.
Well, okay, Pitt, I'm gonna let you do our protecting then. I have faith in you.
Absolutely. Pit has no faith in himself.
That doesn't seem like a very Pitt thing.
Oh no, he wants to exhume like he has faith.
Exhume?
Yeah.
Who are you exhuming?
Himself.
Wouldn't
No.
you like to know?
He wants to.
Exude faith.
Thank you. But he has none. Just like he thinks he's always being brave, but he might be hiding. That sort of thing.
You're in this forest. I will say, Bullard, you probably know this from context. The castle's sort of the standard like north wing, south wing, east wing, west wing sort of deal, where there's like if it's a box that encloses the courtyard, the rooms and all of the everything is like in these long sort of corridory rooms, and then there's a part of it that juts out, and that's where like the feasting hall and the throne receiving room would be. So basically like a square that encloses the garden, and then another thing of the same size that's the public facing king castle things. Very eloquent. And then the like private rooms and the daily life of the castle sort of go on in the garden, around the garden where you are.
So there's two courtyards?
No, there's only one. So the front doesn't have a courtyard, but it's the same size as the courtyard.
You don't have to draw it.
I did draw it. I don't know where it is.
My spatial understanding of it right now doesn't matter a ton. I mean, it does because I like to explore.
Mm-hmm.
But we can explore with words instead of with the spatial understanding.
Let's exhume that.
Yes. Well, actually, so maybe I know we're here for finding the anchor, which is probably going to be like deep under the castle, but I think that maybe we might find some pertinent information if we were to go to some of the living quarters.
Where would those be?
This way.
Considering everything looks dead.
Well, which way is this way?
There's no living quarters.
Which way would I
Versus
presume the living
headquarters.
quarters would be? The west wing?
So you don't know exactly, like you know that like the back half of the castle is where the living quarters and the kitchen and the like the sort of the library and anything that's more domestic. You don't know in which direction it would be. You just know that the throne room is that way, and the somewhere on the four walls that surround you is the more domestic spaces.
Okay.
Wait. So, you know which direction the throne room is, but you don't know which direction the living quarters are.
Are you Pit or are you Keg?
And this is Keg, just trying for
Oh.
clarification.
I'm drawing a picture.
Yes.
Okay. So we can at least rule out the direction of the throne room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would be south,
Right.
because that's like towards the public courtyard. So east, west, and north are other things. I'm gonna take us I'm gonna let Pitt take us west. So when I said that way, I pointed and waited.
Weighted bourbon.
And Pitt does what?
Pitt marches on with his lance in hand.
I'll follow along, and I have my crystal ball out.
What are your appointments for today?
Well, I already used the 19 I had to find the great
Oh,
last
yeah.
time, so I have another 19.
Nice.
But I'm like at the ready. Imagine a soft lavender and teal glow emanating from deep within the orb.
I imagine Pitt walking with his lance like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, just like, I got this, but I do not have this at all.
I thought we were at the corner hill.
That's what I was getting out.
This is my-
Okay.
Okay, if this is not to scale at all, the part that isn't dots is where you are.
That is not dots.
Yeah, so like this is the courtyard. There's
Uh-huh.
building on all four sides of it, and then you know this direction. So you're like in the middle of this block,
Yes.
and then you know
This is the public facing
this
side.
is the public facing side, yeah,
Okay.
and the part that's back.
So what's encasing the public facing side? More castle, or it's just
So there's no courtyard. Like one's a solid cube, one's a solid cube with another cube in it, and the courtyard's the second inner cube.
but it's a building? Sorry, I'm just my medieval
Yeah.
castle architecture knowledge is not as strong as yours. So that is still castle.
Yes.
It's just castle without courtyard. It's like a big grand throne room.
Yes.
Okay. Like
So-
the knowledge of castles insides I have is from the castle in Varrock from RuneScape. So yeah, I don't have a strong knowledge.
To be fair, like there are
for
so many different
There are a
types.
lot of ways to do
For
castles,
as,
and I'm a
like,
huge dweeb.
nerdy into shit like this as I am.
Yeah, but were you into architecture? Yeah. That's where I fell down and never got up.
It's a more structured fandom.
Fuck you.
That was good.
My knowledge comes from video games, so I'm not too far off from you. But Medieval 2, best castle video game that I ever played.
Is there a one?
There was.
Choose the best.
2's better, but they just need to like redo it. Just imagine like the 9th century to like the 14th century, and then strategy, and then real time, like army attacking another army. So you can go on crusades, and you can go on jihads, and popes are bad guys. You can assassinate them. Great stuff.
Solid video game content.
Yeah, but they were pretty bad guys, you know.
So it's like if this was the floor plan of the first floor, the shaded in area is the courtyard.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Right on.
This helps a lot.
Yes. Thank you.
You can keep it.
Yeah, put it underneath that shot glass then, huh?
It's not to scale or anything, so it's just a good way to keep a visual reference. And keep in track of
The
what
Heath
you
bars
guys-
are tasting a little different than I remember.
What are Heath bars?
Toffee.
Toffee.
With peanut butter? in them?
No.
I love toffee.
They're good. They're like hard.
I think you'd like this.
Crunchy.
Do you want to try half?
I'm gonna have a hole in there, little. All right. So you go west.
Yeah, I'm gonna take us
West
to
we go.
west we go.
Sorry.
A little bit.
Because I presume that is where the living quarters are. I don't know what I want to look for there.
Mm-hmm.
Steven wants to explore, and I just wanted to figure out why Bullard would.
I want to try. Oh, sorry. Do you need me to move some things?
No, I don't know what you're doing.
The thing I want to ask. I want to know how brave feels right now.
That's up for you to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's up to
Okay.
you.
I mean, if you want to leave it up to rolling, you can roll, but it's your role-playing decision
Yeah, there's
of
not like any roll
how
for
Iz
that.
feels. There's no roll for courage.
Make a
we're not playing.
Constitution saving
We're not
throw.
playing shit. What's it called? Amnesia.
That's
Oh
game.
gosh, yeah.
You have to roll you don't roll, but you have a sanity meter that you have to keep from falling down. We're not
Oh,
playing
God.
that.
But it's a horror game, so it kind of makes sense.
Oh god, I played it with I tried to play it dark and I couldn't crank that shit all the way up.
I tried to watch a trailer for a horror game and I didn't make it all the way through.
That sounds kind of almost like Amnesia.
All right, so
Anyways.
how is Iz feeling?
Uneasy.
How does he display that? Like, can his party tell that he's uneasy, or is he just being his normal weird self?
Ooh. Normal weird self. But as we get getting a little further, we can still see where we walked in. Where we turned a corner.
What do you mean?
The further that I get,
You didn't you came up through a sewer grate in the fountain.
Okay.
So you didn't walk in here through a door.
Right.
We sprung in.
Yeah. You snuggled in, as I tried to say earlier for some reason.
Okay. Making if things get a little bit darker, or if things get a little bit more narrow. Quietly.
Quiet humming.
Mm-hmm.
And you're leading the way?
Mm-hmm.
How?
Like Shaggy and Scooby-Doo.
Jinkies.
Zoinks, man.
Yeah.
I almost said yoink.
I know you said that earlier.
Stop myself.
I was just so distracted by
I'm
the
just waiting for
fire.
Iz to jump in my arms like Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
I'm going to cast light on the tip of Pitt's lance. On the tip of Pitt's pants.
They didn't have a tip before, but now they do.
Hey,
Bell bottoms.
Ring.
Do you have some sort of mnemonic? Is that the right do you-
verbal and somatic.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. There's a verbal and a somatic component.
Okay. Otherwise, Pitt would be greatly perturbed.
No, I just didn't want to act out hey, hold on, Pitt.
Right. Yeah. No, I just
You
wanted to.
see me cast the spell and your stick illuminates.
Cool.
Just felt very much like Scooby-Doo if you're...
We do flashlight.
Yes.
Sorry. I stopped your twizzlers. You're still good. Keep them away from me, please. No. I'll eat them and my mouth gets stuck together and then we'll never play.
For willpower.
No. There it doesn't exist. I'm a -3 in the willpower department. Clinically. So, in a very Scooby-Doo fashion. The light coming from your lance.
Lance a light.
Is it like a white or yellow light, or is it?
It's white.
Okay. So the white light is, I'd say looks really unnatural. There's not a lot of natural sources of white light. So it's bright and it leaches the color out of the sort of dim twilight, and it casts these long and sort of vaguely threatening shadows on the walls around you and on the into the trees.
To the trees.
But you make your way to the west.
Archway.
West end? So one of the west archways. And
I wanted to wear this for such a There's the friend. Is it sleepy?
what?
Is there?
I don't know if there's a front or a back. I think Mirkwood. Usually when Mirkwood's on my right shoulder, it's front.
I really like that sentence.
And you have it. Look at the neck is falling. It's the neck. Just put it on the way it is. So you see the west is one of the narrower parts of the rectangle that you're in, and so you can see probably in a space of like the length of my house from there to there, 3 doors. One is a huge wooden double door with like a giant lock on it, and the other doors are just as sturdy but less failing, imposing. They seem much more like doors a human would use rather than a king person would use. All the doors are locked, but roll perception or in sight or whatever you
I'm going to investigate.
deem to do with your characters.
Because I'm not going to just glance at them. I'm going to try to glean any information from like the materials used, or if they're locked or not, or what the locks look like.
I want to look specifically at the locks,
Okay.
but can this be 7, like, my initial, like, looking at the doors?
15.
I mean, what did you roll that for?
To look at the doors.
Then maybe with the looking for the locks.
Yeah. Oh, like, when I look at the door, can I find the doorknob?
I mean, if you're doing it in the same, it's the 7.
Okay.
I rolled a 15 for investigating the doors.
Okay. You notice that the hinges on the leftmost door are rusted, and the wood is rotting. It looks like it's had some sort of exposure to water damage over the years, and isn't holding up as well as the rest of it. It's not open by any means, but it's definitely a chink in the armor.
Okay. Hey, is what? Are you okay? That was weird.
I don't like the way this place feels.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah?
Just waiting for Buller to go fuck that shit.
But I'm trying to put on a brave face.
Mm-hmm.
You this is going to be weird. You know how to steal things.
Quite well.
Could you break into these doors?
I can try.
So if you're looking
These
at it,
tools.
so if you're looking at it like with the goal to open it, and like at Bullard's, like that's a different goal in my
I wanna
eyes. That
open
would
it.
be another roll. Yeah.
Can I help out by
Yes.
pointing out like which of the locks looks most valuable versus like cheapest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What is the piton?
Piton helps you climb things.
Oh, cool. I have 10 of those.
So those like spikes. that you
Yeah, it's
stand
like
on?
a spike. You stick it in the cliff face.
Very cool. So using, oh, never mind. It's a small file, small mirror, narrow scissors, pliers, and lock picks. So I guess you get just a lock pick. I'm going to apply the lock pick to the lock.
And I'm helping out, so you're rolling an advantage.
Good.
The which one?
It's a 2.
The broken one.
This waterlogged one that we're looking
Okay.
at.
So roll it.
That is not what I would have suggested, but
Well, what did
it just seems like a rusty lock would be harder to pick than a nice, smooth, clean lock.
Would it?
Yes.
Cool. Emily doesn't
It just
have
seems
damage.
that a rusty lock might be harder to pick than a smooth one. Why don't we try this other pedestrian door?
All right. Yeah.
That role played very well too with the rolls.
Yes. Yes, the first one was just garbage.
Role played.
Noise.
I did it on purpose.
Yeah. I loved it.
I'm funny.
My money, damn it.
I didn't hear it first.
I'm sorry, I'm so insecure. So the two of you, Pitt and Bullard, you watch. Pitt, do you have the foresight to sort of give us some illumination with your lance?
Well, that illumination is as far in front as
Yeah.
possible.
So somehow straddling the line between staying as far away from everything as possible, but still being the primary source of light. And I think probably as evening falls quicker and quicker, because it's getting later in the year. you are now not one of, but you are the primary source of light. You watch as Iz sort of hunkers down in front of the lock, and you hear like the slightest of clicking noises. Do you want to describe how cool you look at lockpicking? You don't have to. It's just if you have something special in mind.
I would think you'd have to like. How short you are.
Depends on where the knob is.
Yeah.
Yes.
2'12".
Okay.
hang
How
down
far
from
off
the
the
knob
ground
and-
is the knob?
It is a human-sized door. So the lock is above the
There was a
So-
barrel to stand on.
yeah.
Ah, nice. That was gonna be really cute.
With the 18, I was just gonna skip the height problem, but thank you guys. There's a barrel to stand on.
Math.
Okay. I sit exactly
Make
how
it
I'm
first
sitting.
harder.
That's right.
Like scooches close, looks at it.
Yeah, and after a surprisingly short time of this, you guys hear a satisfying click, and the door swings open inward.
Oh, great. If you didn't get it, I was just going to make Hogue barge through the other door. But this is a lot quieter.
Less likely to scare anything that's down there.
If Pit is like relatively far away,
Ghosts can't be scared.
you guys
Do you know much about
can't
ghosts?
really see. You guys can't really see into the doorway. It's just this like black gaping maw in front of you that is chilling out on a barrel in front of.
Bother. Is that you? Oh, black mom. Bother. Sorry.
I got you're funny.
I'll try.
Hey, Pit, come shed some light over here.
Pit inches forward. Is that good?
Down a little?
Yeah. Well, why don't you just keep coming closer? Like, so close you're in the doorway. And then go first.
This is like the slowest movement forward you've seen all night.
That's fine, we have time.
But he moves forward.
Down or across? Wait. Does the blackness like?
It just fills the
It's
doorway.
just if you opened a door that didn't have light in it, you wouldn't like it's not a hole or anything. Once Pit comes closer, he starts to slowly like throw light into the room.
There's a load screen.
Yes. So there's suddenly a fog inside, and as you move closer, it clears. As Pit is lit. Jesus.
Pit is lit.
Pit is lit. As Pit casts more light into the room, you can see into it. It is a small room, almost less of a room than a sort of part of a passageway, and in it is barrels that look like they sort of rotted out. You see some low tables and a lot of like candlesticks.
Is it going forward or left and right from us?
Both. Like it's like a square,
Okay,
but you see doors on either side.
but no door in front.
Yeah.
Is one still closer to the barrels to see if they look familiar? I'm gonna do a barrel roll.
Oh my fucking god. I was like, what? Do you have like dead family members who were once barrels in a past life?
Oh, damn. I mean, that's very is.
Yes.
18.
Okay.
Do these barrels look familiar to me?
I don't know why.
Tea?
I don't know
Tea.
why they would be familiar to you.
Barrels, candles. What else?
Like some low tables. It seems kind of like a storeroom, like a closet, almost. There's some like excess chairs, a couple of items that you aren't entirely sure of the original purpose, but are broken. Like someone broke a broom and threw it in here.
I've broken brooms before too.
Okay, is that in
Between my thick, meaty
Thank
thighs,
you. Okay.
and also occasionally on the ground.
and sometimes a combination of both.
Yeah, usually. Anyway,
So your options are to go left or right. Is the barrels are not familiar to you. They smell sort of vinegary.
Nothing inside?
No.
hey, what's in those barrels?
There's a
foul
mouse
odor.
nest in one of them.
A mouse.
Not a clue, it's just flavor.
Ooh.
Pitt would like to take the candles if they're in good shape.
Okay. You now have some candles that are very dusty.
Don't you have a shit ton of candles already?
You can never have too many candles as a paladin.
Hey, Pitt, what are you picking up over there?
Candles.
I thought you already had a lot of candles.
You can never have too many candles.
You want to light some candles?
Would you like a candle to light the way?
She like my candles.
Well, what? Maybe light a candle in here just to like say we've been here.
Oh, that's a good idea. Light the path. I like that. It's a good idea.
Indeed.
Are there any candelabras or holsters?
Mhm.
Pitt will take a few of those too, so that way we can light our path back.
Nice.
They're really heavy, but you have them.
Do I know how many I have? I don't know how
7
important that is.
candelabras.
You have 3.5 candelabras that hold
3.5, you say?
yeah.
What's the half?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Um, you have 3.5 candelabras that hold 5 candles each, like,
Still no even under.
and they wouldn't all, if you put candles in here of the same height, they wouldn't all be even. It's sort of pitched so that 2
Like
are at the lowest, 2 are higher, and then there's one that's in the middle.
Goldilocks.
Do I have a number of candles?
5. Oh no, you just said
So
5.
some of them have like candle nubs in them. There are enough candles in this room to fill them, but one of the candle holders has been broken, and it only has 2 candle bits,
I leave the 2 candle bit one in there.
or 2 candle holders.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
3.5. So now you guys can see much farther on them, and your lance is still lit. I think. How long does the light last?
An hour.
All right.
Cool.
Then
I
I
feel
can,
really easy right now.
Yeah, I
I
know.
can just cast it again afterwards if we want. Whoa.
Is it a cantrip?
It is.
I can't trip.
Ugh, I need to make a line of like work safe shoes. Can't trip.
All right. So you have the
Great.
option of going left or right.
I think left is just going to take us into the, like, closer to the public areas.
That looks sketchier anyways.
Why?
That was just me running off the cantrip shoe line.
Oh. Okay. So maybe we go right instead of left?
Second.
There's nothing that's anything to do with them. Talking about lacing things, tablets, and souls. Ghosts. Okay. See you later. This is really good.
I love those so much.
Oh, the other
That
half.
was my favorite when I was a itty bitty.
Italy. What? It doesn't say New Musketeers anywhere on here.
You should know what it is. You just should. Brand recognition, bitch.
Oh,
Says
the
the
back.
designer.
The back off.
The former designer. Okay, so
You would really
you're
like
here.
some of those film desk
They're
stuff.
saving on printing.
Oh.
I should have put directions on this much earlier.
No, that's okay.
So now you have the option of going left and right, and you don't know what's rooms or anything. It's just those were the 3 doors. So one goes to
The doors
the
down?
sort of fancier there. No.
I was gonna make
Fancier
that joke
door.
earlier, but you guys didn't say anything that made it
You
work.
found out crazy.
Still right, I think. Certainly different than what I was quite imagining, but that's okay. We can.
I have a map. I don't know where it is, but I will put it on Facebook. What are you doing?
I'm looking at the miniature.
At Bullard.
Oh.
Bullard, the woman barmaid with the pie.
That's the pie is what was like, what's going on here?
It looks like a jewel, though, was kind of the idea.
Yeah. Would you like it, Strudel?
Oh, this is a great picture.
Okay, move your finger.
Don't want it to fly away.
That's why the pen is in there.
If you're cool one, use your cool dice.
Yeah, I still, what about right? My logic is not as sound anymore, but it's okay.
I mean, you will be going into the big fancy door. So it's reasonable to assume there's something here.
That's a big fancy door?
Yeah, like I think. There was 3 doors and you went to the rightmost one.
Yeah, oh. I thought that they all went to the same room. Okay.
And you know that from, I didn't describe it right, but it's like a big.
So I was thinking, so in ancient Maya temples, there's a central entryway for the priest caste, and then the left entryway for this other caste, and then the right entryway for the other caste, but they all go into the same temple.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was what we were.
I mean, you're pretty close, but no. And if it helps to keep in mind, you didn't come through the front door.
Yeah.
You just sort of popped up, you just popped out the shower drain somewhere.
Yes.
So it's more like one door that's heavy and difficult to open and would probably be open for ceremonious reasons, or if the king came down here, and then the other doors are what people who aren't kings would use on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
To access these storage rooms. A very, very rich person's garden shed is what you're in right now.
Mm-hmm. So then the big door would open up to the room on the left. If we went to the door on the right,
Yeah.
we would need to go left to hit the big doors. Yes.
Yes.
I still want to check the room to the right out first.
Okay, cool. Thanks, because I'm writing in pen.
Write it off.
Sorry. I know my right from my left, I promise.
All right, Pitt, you first. I can open the door for you if you want.
Sure.
Oh man, I wish you wouldn't have said that.
Well, I could do it if you don't want to.
I will open the door for Pitt, but I'm gonna stand behind it.
After you, Lord. Pitt, do you go through the door?
Yeah, I blindly walk in.
I mean, you have the light.
Oh no, the light's
You have
on.
many lights.
I'm just
Wait, so you have,
walking forward. My eyes
You have both candelabras?
Well, I have the candelabras
Are they lit?
The lit one is
lit
in
one's
this
in the room.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, the
we're
rest
kind of
is the other
marking
two.
our path by
Okay.
Goldilocks.
So the other two are just hanging about, but I'm semi-blind
Gotcha.
walking
You
forward.
just holstered them?
Yeah.
You walk into a room with a huge vaulted ceiling, and it has a almost a balcony running around it, and you see probably 3 floors that this room takes up, and as do the rest of you follow Pitt?
First, looking over my shoulder to see if anyone's following us.
Okay. As the
So sorry. Don't.
The guy with the X is on his face. He's
Yeah.
a big white square.
Yeah.
Mark. Oh.
Like a ghost.
Okay. You.
That's the sound it made.
So you walk into a a huge room with a vaulted ceiling. It stretches back like far beyond the room you were just in. If the room you were just in was like slightly larger than, like was probably like the size of my living room and was being used as a closet, this is the proportional space where a room the size of my house would be equivalent to a broom closet, if that makes sense. And as you file in and as your eyes continue adjusting to the like much more pressing darkness here, because there's so much more, I guess, space for the light to just dissipate and not
echo around.
Yeah, and not like bounce off walls or actually like illuminate anything significant. You realize you're in what seems to be some sort of chapel. Would be too modest, but it's not a cathedral or anything. It is some sort of place of worship. You are standing among pews, 2 rows that like go all the way up to the large wooden doors at the back wall, and they go almost all the way forward to a risen area, like an altar.
The back wall being straight ahead of us or to the right?
Not ahead of you.
Okay.
So going back into the, like if this was the courtyard, this was the door you came through, it goes, like stretches out this way. I'm just going to stop using left and right because I clearly don't know what they mean.
It's okay.
But there's
Can I tell?
Oh, go ahead.
Not a joke. Do your joke.
No, that's not a joke.
Oh.
Go ahead.
We can be serious here. It's okay, guys. You don't have to ask permission.
But
I want to investigate the pews.
Okay.
To look at if there's like anything tucked in somewhere.
Okay. You roll, and what do you want to do?
I want to look at the altar.
Okay,
Because
so-
fucking altars.
Yeah, I would say you walk. Like it's a little bit of a walk.
I'm gonna hang in between the two of them
Uh-huh.
with Holg and Squirrel Boy.
Crowder. I was like, squirrels. I was planning this earlier, and I kept being like, oh, Cam's gonna shit his pants. And like, Cam doesn't live in this world, Caroline. What are you doing? So, Pitt, you first. You find sort of like some books that are completely disintegrating, with like covered in a fine layer of dust, sort of settled among the ends of some of the pews. Others have been like chewed through by rats or just fallen to the ground and aren't very usable.
Are you open it? Can I read it?
Yeah.
What does it appear to be?
It appears to be a trying to come up with non-Catholic words for this.
Songbook.
But a hymnal, yeah, like a song, a book of not songs, but like a book
Hum
of
of tunes.
Bhagavad Gita? Is that right? It's like the Hindu.
yes, it's the Bhagavad Gita. It's more like verses. And it describes the way the world was saved, as you guys now know. So, it is a place of worship
From an era gone by.
from an era gone by.
An era gone by?
Celebrating the Angers and their the way these verses put it, their sacrifice. And you don't get it's not that the Angers were being like worshipped necessarily as gods. Like they're not, none of them are like petitioning in the way that I would say like Pitt is more familiar with. It almost seems to be like I don't know, like the same sort of reverence you would give a national holiday, almost like, and this is our day of independence, and like all of the verses in the chapel are like, this is the day we didn't die, and it's all thanks to these guys. But it's not a prayer necessarily. Does that make sense?
It's kind of like a Bloody Sunday or something, and like that's why we all went communist, because all those guys died in the square.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. But it's speaking of the way the monks and the order sort of brought the anchors down to earth.
Gotcha.
There's some lovely illustrations.
I want to keep it.
Okay.
I still don't know much about all these things in it. want to know more without having to talk to people.
Does it seem like the doors, just from like general spatial awareness, which I mean, Bullard is not especially good at, but he's not.
Neither am I, so it's okay.
He's not like poor, you know. He's not an idiot. Not saying that we were both idiots.
I'm an idiot.
Okay.
Would my spatial awareness lead me to think that the double doors lead outside or back into another chamber of the castle?
They lead outside. They are the double doors. They, you know, like from spatial awareness, they're the same double doors that you saw and didn't try to open.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And whatever mistakes I have made describing this, I will amend it in when I find my map. Sorry,
No, I
know
don't
my
think that
left
you're
from my
making
right.
mistakes describing. I'm just like,
Oh, I don't know my left from my right, or my right, or my east from my west.
my
Me
wife.
neither.
That's what you sound like.
Huh?
Or
Colin was really happy to say that.
Huh?
When Carol, words.
I'm nervous to fucking talk.
Colin and Carolina.
I've never seen porn.
You ever seen
Me
it?
neither.
Oh, it's
I just know
it's
it.
fantastic for how ridiculously stupid it is.
None of us can talk.
It's true.
But in fairness, he talks better than some of the people he interviews in the movie. So
That's fair. Alright, so
Okay.
you are walking towards the altar.
yep. Do I see anything that's obvious? Because otherwise, Pitt is nervous.
Obvious in what way?
Just like stands out, like it's clear that this was like this or that. Not like I'm not investigating because I'm still clearly a coward. So
I mean, you see a table similar to the one that was in the last temple you were in. But this place is, I wouldn't say like less extravagantly delicated, but extravagantly decorated, but decorated to extravagance in a different way. Whereas the temple that you found the last anchor in was it seemed to be about like covering every single physical surface with art. This is a little bit more understated, but no less like labor intensive or
Presbyterian
or
church,
expensive.
you know.
Yeah. There's
Not quite Kelly.
like larger paintings hung and statues. It's just more like
That
general
should
like
be
European
okay.
decoration versus didn't actually break out my history books, so we're just summarizing. The statues of like what you would assume would be like old kings. Like you can see like sequential numbers, sort of. Like if there's a bunch of statues on the altar and you see like sequential numbers of a lot of people who look a lot alike, increasingly more so as time goes on, and you can assume that that's like the rulers. The altar has the same table that you saw in the other temple, and there's a window set very, very high up at the back of the altar. You also see some like throne-like chairs set close to the back left probably corner, left asterisk. Sorry, the asterisk is I don't know if it's actually left or left.
it doesn't matter.
It's working. It's
Okay.
working.
Yes.
As well as some like long abandoned candlesticks, like taller candle holders.
With candles.
No. Like-
I place candles and
Okay.
light them, so that way we know we were here.
Yeah.
Nice.
So good.
So this seems like not only a place of worship, but also maybe like ancestral honoring or like maybe like more not a coronation ceremony, but like things that are more private that still have to do with whatever family lived here.
Like a chapel.
Yeah.
For the,
Yeah.
okay.
So like some weddings would happen here.
So like Pitt prays and then like
Yeah.
gets back to the group.
Okay.
Were you looking for anything else in the queues?
Was there a place to kneel?
Yeah.
Cool. When I kneel, can I see you over the floor?
No.
Good to know.
I mean, if you're 2 feet tall and you kneel, you're not 1.5
Yeah.
feet tall, right?
seeing if it's like the Wisher place is made for.
It is made for the bigs,
The bigs.
the big friends. Do you look for anything?
No.
What's behind us? Did we
Hmm.
close the door behind us?
That is a good question. Did you?
No.
I certainly didn't.
When I look behind me to see what's behind me.
I mean, like, but it's probably not the door any longer. If you're looking at the door you came in, it's still open. You can see like the flickering candlelight coming out of it from the candles that Pit lit. Depending on which way you're facing, behind you is either the altar, another door that's closed directly across from the one you came in, or the giant oak doors that open to the courtyard. And Pit, when you were walking towards the altar, you saw another door sort of like up on the dais, settled near the throne type things.
Kind of like a back door.
Yeah, like I guess we're all Catholic here, like a sacristy.
Okay.
Like where the
The money box.
Is there another version? One that you didn't just pick out for yourself?
I'm just pulling random
Okay.
stuff out of the bag right now,
Thank you.
so that we have like an assortment. Thanks, Gig. All right, so there's the door we came in, double doors, another door, and then the sacristy door.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's like the room isn't like empty, like it's actually like fairly populated between the like long pews, populated with shit, not people. There's like places you can see clearly like torches would have been hung, or places that probably once held like greenery or flowers that has long since sort of like crumbled. You see like dead vines hanging out over some of the balconies. If you guys look at the balconies, it's probably hard to see exactly because of the light, but it looks like there might be more pews up there. They have cushions also. They have cushions.
How about a way up?
You do not see a way up from here.
Are there any like? Does it seem like closet doors where things might be kept?
Well, you
Oh,
just
you're
came
gonna
out
have
one.
to eat me.
You just came out of a closet door.
Okay.
There's perhaps one right across the way from you.
Actually, Hulk, why don't you eat Crowder instead?
Quick far fan.
You too?
Crowder is what I said.
They just go on their own adventure.
Evil twin.
Um,
Brony.
hey, Pit, why don't we check out that other single door?
Sure.
Not the sacristy door, but the door like directly across from where we entered.
Okay.
It's so good.
That's my favorite brewery. Evil Twin. They're like brew gypsies.
That's cute.
What?
Brew gypsies? They like travel and brew. That's what I mean by that.
Is that like a term?
Yeah, I mean like
Okay.
there's a few breweries that actually go around and they just travel to other ones and like not in any
Traveler.
yeah. Not in the negative connotation that the word gypsy can have, but
Checking.
yeah, sure.
I didn't realize that gypsy was like almost a slur for a very long time.
So same thing with people not realizing tribe is practically a slur.
Tribe?
Yeah, you should say indigenous. But,
And saying spirit animal.
Yeah.
The more
Anyways.
you know.
Right.
So closets. We walked out of the
PC.
closet.
And now we're going back in the closet.
Just say First Nation.
Never.
Evil Twin Romani Brewing. I mean
Okay.
that is not a normal IPA. I'm sorry.
No?
Tastes good.
It's good, but it's just like that's not what IPA is.
I don't like IPAs, so this tastes extra good.
Right.
The door is not locked, but like stuck. If you just go and touch the handle and turn it and try and push or pull, it doesn't move.
Hulk, I need your
Your beast strength.
your
Muscles.
no, I'm trying to like make something up. Your never mind.
Beefy arms.
No, I just
No,
Hulk,
like his
I,
like special move. His special wrestling finisher
Yes.
move. Like when you hold R and press X when you're like facing an opponent.
exactly. Just
Hold their arms.
Hulk, I need your title-winning strength over here. kind of small.
Pitt offers his help. So like just extra,
Nice.
like 3 people on the door.
Oh, I'm not pushing.
I'm watching.
I
Or
tried.
do you push or pull it?
I follow Holmes' lead. I'm a coward,
What does
but
the
I
sign
would
say?
not. Pitt would say push. Pitt would not think.
Where are the hinges?
Well, we're deciding. Hulk pushes the door, and it breaks. It was a pull door that if you if you chose to investigate it, it just sort of like the hinges had expanded enough that it was kind of sticky. What was that noise? But it is now sort of lying in pieces under Hulk into the next room. What?
I just find them funny.
I'm on edge. That was.
Let's go. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we just made a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
Too loud.
I help Hulk up.
Can I peek into the room if the light's shining in there?
The light's shining in there. This is another room similar to the first. It seems like it's
closety room.
yeah, but it is like you can see a lot of water damage in it. Right, this is the rusted door.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
I've just got it all backwards. That's cool.
I have it all backwards too. Whatever. It is. It's the rusted door. So there's like probably like 2 feet of water damage of the
great.
walls.
Reds?
Just orange. Anyone like orange?
I do.
I'm a yellow and pink guy, so. But I love the sour ones. Partial all sour candy.
Same. Until I eat too much and my mouth hurts.
All right. Well, I think we're trying to find a way upstairs. So let's just leave this soggy room. Well, yeah, the other layers of this.
So there are stairs in here.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's they're not.
sorry. I thought that you said that we didn't see stairs. My bad.
No, I said it was. Yeah, it looks similar to the room you were in, but there are stairs. Nestled
Oh,
in the back.
in the closet, the
Yeah.
water room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nestled in the back corner. They're like very, very narrow and very, very tight. Like they probably aren't the main access, but maybe like a servant's access or something. And you can fit up there if you go one by one. Pitt, you might be a little uncomfortable as just being a big manly man in armor. But it's the kind of like stairway where you can get like a person and a half in it widthwise, and it's just spirals up impossibly around itself.
Pitt is deathly afraid. He's still afraid of going around corners. He can't see what's there.
Okay. Up the stairs we go.
Are you alright?
One step at a time.
Indeed. This is probably gonna make my sounds great. But I haven't
We're
had.
going ham on candy.
Yeah,
right
we are. I
now.
have this like graveyard over here that I'm growing increasingly ashamed of.
I'm trying to be really gentle because I am conscious of that cheesecake.
Oh, I know.
I'm gonna say this for later. Getting too hard into like the sour tastes.
I've like had a sore on my tongue on and off for a couple weeks, and it just I thought it was gone, and then I ate like a Jolly Rancher, and I was like, no, it's not gone.
Mm-hmm.
So you go up the stairs. You get a little dizzy, honestly.
Yeah, when I go upstairs, I have to turn the key. Alternate.
Stair climber.
Out ass to the stairs.
And you eventually come out, and you have a like a thin
Excuse me.
door in front of you that's not ceremonial at all. It's really just got a handle made of and it's just made of like thin slats of wood, and the stairs continue up as well.
Why are we going up? I thought we were supposed to go down.
yeah, I guess that's a good point. I don't know. I was just kind of curious. You said that there was stuff about the anchors and the monks in the book, and I was just kind of curious if there was more information up there,
Maybe.
or maybe I don't know, something magical. I like stuff like that.
Okay. We should keep going up.
Well, can we open the door first?
Yeah, you open the door.
Okay,
You open the door?
Yeah.
Who does it?
I don't.
I will.
Okay. You're in a... The door opens up to a hallway.
Oh,
And you're viewing... Like, you're not at one end of it. You're closer to one end, but there's a... Like, this is the hallway you come in here. And then, like, there's the door at the end of it here. Across from you, you see windows that they're not paneled or anything. They're just sort of like holes in the wall that go out. That view out into the balcony that was that you saw on the second floor of the churchy chapel room. Is that Bullard's confusion or Steven's?
Steven's confusion. How creepy that there's like little tiny slat windows into the balcony.
It's not slat windows. It's more just like it's not closed off. So like if you were packing a lot of people in here, this would be the standing
You
room.
can put the unworthy in here.
The unworthy or the just like the...
The proles.
No, because the pearls would be downstairs. Like the balcony is there's like cushions, which there were not downstairs.
Oh, so
But this might be where like the groomsmen or like the ladies in waiting, like if their people were in the balcony, they would stand and look out the windows.
right.
But
So they're not
Pip,
top-
I mean, you would know that.
Yeah, they're not top level, but they're like with the top level.
Yeah. It's like the secondary to top level, but
Yeah.
below.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the hallway runs the length of it, and spaced less regularly than the windows are doors leading to the balcony. It's just not open. Like you, I guess Bullard, you might know this. It's just like it would be open except for like there would be no structural integrity. So the windows and the doors are there to let people in or let people see what's going on below, but they do need a wall here to hold it up. So that's one side of the hallway. The hallway is sort of like where standing room only would be. And then there are pictures all along your other side. Sort of like big, like wall-sized paintings.
Wow.
Of some of it looks familiar, some of it looks like Ladova, but before it had actually it doesn't look like it. One of them is a panorama of Ladova before it sort of disintegrated. Like you can probably pick out the building that's going to come the Snake and Lion. And it's viewing Ladova as if it was like from the top of the mountain behind it. So like the castles in the parts of the castle are in the foreground, and then like spread out, and the most of it is the city, and beyond the city, the farmlands and the plains. There's another one that seems to be of the courtyard, but it has horses in it with extravagantly dressed people, and a few of them humanoids. Should have been humans and humanoids. So not just men and women, but elves and one or two gnomes. Although it definitely seems to be a like mostly medium-sized creatures. And it's between like pictures of the surrounding countryside or Ladova itself, and the pictures of the castle, and pictures of like what seems to be royalty. And then none of them, it's all old enough that none of it's people like you recognize from not myth, or not like myth or history. Some of it might be familiar to you, Bullard, if you're like well read on the history of the area. I don't know like what kind of, if you've collected books in that sense. or if it was like, ever relevant to your exploits.
Not like expert level.
Yeah. So in that sense, you don't really know who these people are, but I think it's obvious to all three of you, and also your companions, that like this is depicting like the people who like, they commissioned these works to sort of show themselves off.
Yeah.
These are so large.
Yeah, they're like extra. Like it's all like like life and a half sized. So I have to assume for you it is stupid big.
This is typical.
For what?
For a castle.
Wow.
I've never been in a castle before, but if we're being honest, this is how I would expect it to be.
Oh, well, you'll have to see more of them.
I'm gonna like poke one with my scissors.
You poke a painting? Okay, you punch through a hole in it.
Did you poke hard enough to?
Oh yeah, okay, that's true. Do you poke hard enough to puncture it? Like, why are you poking it?
Punch it
Like you're trying to break it?
a little bit.
Okay, then you puncture it. Yeah, it's old and not preserved, so it really doesn't take much.
What are you doing?
Why'd you
And
do
it's
that?
it's stretched canvas, so the whole thing sort of like the rip extends farther than just the hole you poked as the tension, the final bits of tension leave the stretched canvas. And
At least tell me you poked one of the people and not the pretty like vistas.
Oh, it definitely poked a person.
just poked a knight right in the eyeball.
But why?
Yeah. What is? Do you think there's something behind there?
Let's see.
You see bricks.
Just bricks.
A couple of them have like maker's marks exposed, or markings left over from the building process. But it's not like a secret chamber or anything. It's just a wall that was covered up by a painting for a really long time. It looks much less awful than the rest of this place does because it was covered.
Nothing to see here.
Except
For a torn painting.
Yeah.
This is most sad.
Why don't we continue up the stairs?
Okay. So you continue up the stairs?
Yes, I
I
closed the
decide
door
not to poke
behind me.
another one.
We continue.
Yeah, we closed the door behind us this time.
Okay. You go back up the stairs, single file. Who's first? Hit. And you come to another similar landing with a door facing, not inward, but it's on the same part of the stairs that the last door was on. It theoretically would lead to the floor above what you were just on, and stairs that continue upwards. But upwards is really drafty.
Yeah, I would think that
It's actually pretty drafty where you are, where you can like hear wind.
because there's only three layers of balcony.
Yeah.
Or 3 stories. What do you think is above us? Is that like the roof?
Could be a place where they keep things.
Well, I
They
posit
want other people to see.
that it's the roof. Let's open the door first to investigate.
Sure.
Okay, you're in another hallway. What?
It's always.
Similar to the last.
Similar to very similar, like more or less identical to the last. The
Different
the
paintings.
paintings are not as excessive per se here. It seems
These people don't need to show off.
maybe not to the 3rd floor. No. I mean it's still like expensive, beautiful work, but it's not taking up the entire goddamn wall. It seems to be like whatever the royal equivalent of like the family portraits on the stairwell.
The
Can-
third cousin. The
Yes,
Duke,
exactly.
Whatever.
There's little plaques under each of these
Yeah.
paintings.
Can
like,
I,
oh, this is so and so's baptism.
Right.
Can I peek
Dipped in
through the
great company.
windows
Mhm.
to look at the pews to see if anything significant looks like it was left on the cushioned seats?
Like swanky jewels. You see a couple of the books that is found earlier.
Okay.
You don't see any latent riches that were left behind here.
Okay. doesn't have to be riches. I'm just looking for stuff of note.
Yeah. There is not anything of note that you can perceive from back here from
Okay.
the windows. And like the last hallway, once you get past the paintings, like the hallway goes down the entire length of
Chapel.
the chapel below you. So it goes down a while. You can see
Doors.
leading to rooms
Okay.
past the paintings.
Rooms on the not the chapel.
Not the chapel side, yeah.
Oh. Well, let's come back here and figure out what is up the stairs,
Yes.
and then because I think there's not going to be much up there, and then we can start to do a bit more exploring.
Yes.
So are we going through the door or not through the door?
We're going back the way we came to go upstairs,
Okay.
because the stairs kept going, but they shouldn't have.
Okay.
All right, so you go up again. It's a much shorter ascent this time. You're not going up a level so much as just going up sort of like the roof access stairs, and you reach a hatch door in the ceiling at the top. It is probably not. It's low. Like Pit is probably doubled over on. If he's first, he's doubled over like by this, and he has like a good couple feet of stairs in front of him that like lead up and hit the ceiling. But you would be able to like reach the latch and push the door open above you.
Bro. That shit right there.
Is that good?
That shit just made my day.
I knew you guys would like it. I knew you guys were all coffee fans. So that's why look at that face.
Mm-hmm.
It just like nudged me into a whole new.
Oh, so nice. Okay.
Ooh, just the smell.
If that shit is on Amazon, like,
Ooh,
I am so much trouble right now.
That does taste good.
it does taste good.
In a very small dosage.
Want to throw that in beer.
See, that tastes like what coffee smells like.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's true.
Because anytime someone brews coffee, the
Yes.
smell of coffee is nothing like the taste of coffee.
Exactly.
And I get excited because it smells good, and then it tastes like garbage.
We have over 30 olfactory senses though, and our tongue like only has like 8 or some shit like
Yeah.
that.
It
So,
probably has like 4 because of all the hot chocolate it just makes it.
anyways, if we could modify our tongue to
That's
taste
so
what we fucking
good.
smell, life would be
Oh my god. I'd like popcorn way more.
right.
That's true. Popcorn is such a discipline
Oh,
compared to how
yeah.
it smells. So you open the door.
Sure.
It takes a little.
The trapdoor.
Yeah, the trapdoor. It takes a little convincing. I think like the room, like the door into the room that had been flooded. Being exposed to the elements had made this one sticky. But you have like plenty of leverage, and eventually are able to pop it open, and it is a surprisingly loud slam as it swings open and hits the roof on the other side.
Hey, Pit, what's out there?
The roof.
So you're on a
I'll find out too.
you're on like a I'm trying to think of how to explain this.
Like-
So you're it's like it's got turrets on it. You're on like maybe at one point it would have been a defensive position, and now it just seems sort of to be like been inherited architecturally, but wasn't. You don't see like any evidence of.
Are we on like a wall? Or are we
You're on the top of a wall.
I just wasn't sure if we were on like an actual tower, like
Yeah.
tower climbing, or the actual wall itself.
You're on a tower, but it's not like a tower.
Yeah, it's not a pointy
Yeah,
tower, but
yeah.
it's like a defensive tower, right?
Square tower?
So you have your 4 points on your castle,
Mhm.
and so we're on one of those points.
Yes, you are.
right?
You're on one
Or
of
like
those
in the
points.
corner.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
in the
okay.
corner. And there are
Battlements?
Gargoyles?
Isn't battlement like the wall, like the 2.5
the sort of
wall?
like chipped teeth looking things.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
looking
It's also
down.
like
Jack-o'-lantern.
balustrades and things like that they talk about. So
I like
don't know all that.
balustrade.
I know it's all these cool words that I,
I don't.
didn't Google.
I'm not 100% sure that's the right one, but it sounds about right.
Yeah, so you're on this like walkway that goes around the entire thing. Below you there's a sort of pitched slope that seems to be the roof of the chapel area. And you're almost like, I don't know, like a buttress, almost like if the chapel area is like this and it's a triangle, there's like the
ridge.
The rectangle like bisects it.
Okay.
But there's like space for the elements. Like if it snows, it wouldn't all break the chapel; it would fall down the roof. But on top of all that, like, you're at the highest point of the castle. The mountain that this this structure butts up to is almost suffocating. And you see all of the Dova stretching up before you. It looks a lot like the painting you just saw.
I'd like to look up at the mountain.
Okay, you look up the mountain.
Not look at the city as much, but just like gaze longingly.
So the options here are to sort of follow one of the two.
Like the walls.
The walls. There are gargoyles and like more statues decorating the whole thing, and it's very strange because you think that very few people probably came up here, but it says it's like this whole little ecosystem of stone creatures and stone plants and just this, like everything that was in the courtyard, but it's all been petrified. Or you can go back in the door. But you can reach two more guard towers from here. It's cold and windy.
My vote, we move out here. Makes more sense to try to cover ground from the top down. Doubt anything would get us up here.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'm surprised we haven't seen any ghosts yet.
Alright, so you guys go out onto the walkway?
Sure.
Alright, roll dex. Maybe? Unless you just... Roll, no, yeah, whatever, roll dexterity. Dexterity.
20.
Okay.
13.
I was complimenting how much space we had, and then I filled it with chocolate.
I like that.
You did
trajectory.
do that.
Yes.
What'd you get, Pit?
I like the
13.
trajectory of the
Okay.
events.
Did you roll?
14.
Okay.
You don't
guys...
plus a bunch. Yeah.
What?
Plus much.
Oh, plus a bunch, okay. You hear this sort of screech, almost bird-like, and as you look around to see the source of it, ghost owl.
Gargoyle. Dragon.
The
Gargoyle.
from the rapidly approaching like intensity of the noise, the three of you have the sense to duck down as a huge stone something whizzes over your head, and we're gonna eat cake now.
Ew. It whizzes on our heads.
Yes. It can just come over
It
here,
whizzes
right?
over your head.
Do you guys remember that there was a trend for a while, like planking, called gargoyling?
Oh, do you remember
Oh,
Owling?
yeah, okay.
Owling was like the perch. Oh, I guess that was also